Welcome to Turn a Page, the official comic book club for Nerd Initiative. Each week, the NI Bullpen will be covering the world of comics, talking to creators, deep diving into some fantastic stories, and much more. Now let's hand it over to the team and turn a page.
And what is going on, everyone? It is Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you are tuned in for another edition of Turn a Page, the official comic book club for Nerd Initiative. My name is Ken M. You know me as the host of the ODPH podcast. I'm also Nerd Initiative editor-in-chief. To my left, your right at home, is in his contract. He does his own intro.
Yeah, I'm an 11 direct straight from the ODPH studios. My name is Off the Cuff Top, Nerd Initiative's pop culture connoisseur, Ken. Everybody else out there in the internet and all the CHEERSIE nominees. Always a pleasure.
Yes, indeed. It is that time of year.
It's the most wonderful time.
It is. We honor the best of the best in comics. And there is so much going on with this award show because this is the 6th annual CHEERSIES, which is going to be live here on Nerd Initiative Monday, December 30th. So it's a special date and time for TaP. But we will be announcing the winners of these awards because what we like to do is take what Brian Wayne from the Cheers of Comics podcast, shout out to Brian, started and really elevate it to a whole new level because we love to talk comics here at Nerd Initiative. I think that is probably the worst kept secret in all of pop culture.
Yeah.
And we like to honor everybody that's been putting in all such amazing work. And this is the fan voted award. So we really want to stress that out. So nerdinitiative.com is going to have the ballot up as soon as this broadcast is over. But if you click that QR code or you look in the liner notes of this podcast, guess what? It's live now. Yeah. So you can definitely get a jump start on that because we are going to be honoring the best of the best. And there is so much going on with this. First, we thought we'd explain the criteria first. So super chat, definitely get involved here because we're going to be talking comics all night here. The nomination criteria for the CHEERSIES is it has to be issues that were released between November 6th and November of 2023 and 2024. So whole calendar year, that is the eligible books allowed here. The Nerd Initiative Bullpen, who covers all the comics throughout the year, had their ballots turned in. So that's where you came up with the nominations.
Even me.
Yes. There is reader and listener feedback because we go based off the views from nerdinitiative.com. We go off the views from YouTube, and we just go off the general feedback we have from you, the fans out there of these amazing books. And then this year is kind of a special one. I want to kind of explain a little bit.
Please explain.
There is a couple categories because usually we keep it just at 10. But I felt this year we had to expand a couple categories because obviously there's a lot going on in the world that we want to shift everybody's attention to honoring what is truly something worthwhile talking about on social media. And that is how great this year has been in comics.
Indeed.
And we've had so many great books, so many creators really putting out such amazing work that we've expanded a couple categories for this year alone. This will not be the same number as next year, though. However, we're going to go back to the hard 10 for each category. But this year, I felt that we needed to kind of expand a little bit and really give a lot of people their flowers and say thank you for your hard work. So at least the nominations are there. But the beauty of the CHEERSIES, if anybody is not familiar, is we do allow write-ins.
Yes.
And we've had a couple categories over the years that have came down to write-ins down to the final day. So wherever you're checking this show out and clicking on the ballot, it's unlimited voting, like TRL style, if you remember that.
I was on there once.
Really?
Yeah, February. It was actually Valentine's Day, 2001. Hi, Nikki.
Hey, what's going on? But I see Kat's in the chat too as well. So that is what we like doing here, because if you're a fan, you go hard all the time for your books. You go hard for the creators. This is what we really want to see everybody do, because really we want everybody celebrating the fandom. Yes. That is the key point of getting a CHEERSIE, because it's all fan voted. So that being said, we are unveiling the ballot tonight. We do have some videos lined up, but you want to make sure you're following Nerd Initiative on YouTube, because there's going to be exclusive content going there involving the CHEERSIES as well.
Now, also big shout out to our buddy Mickey Cellphone Wallachie Smith, my co-host on Play for Keeps, for doing these fantastic videos. So all those dulcet tones you're going to hear from him, not from me.
Yes, indeed. So we can't wait to get started on that. So let us kick off the CHEERSIES with the first category, and that is Best Letterer. And this is a stacked lineup of letterers: Rob Leigh, Clayton Cowles, Tom Napolitano, Jeff Eckelberry from Powerpuff Girls, Lucas Gattoni, Hassan Esman Eloué, Becca Carey, Ed Dukeshire, Wes Abbott, Joe Sabatino, like amazing categories. I mean, Otsame Elhau, I apologize for messing the name up. Really has been putting a fantastic work. You're seeing his stuff pop up all over the place.
Yep.
Tom, you're seeing the field. I mean, what are you thinking right now?
I mean, we all know I'm particular to Ed the Dukeshire, not only just for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but he does anything Power Ranger related. So Ranger Academy, Power Rangers Universe, any of the spinoffs, I'm big about that. Tom
Napolitano.
See, it's rubbed off on me. I know you have raved about Grimm and everything that's coming off with that. I'm really excited to see that. Obviously, Lucas Gattoni, having read Alan Scott Green Lantern and all the feeling that comes through it, it's not just the writing, it's how you perceive it. So every one of these letterers are artists of their own craft, and to just take it all in, like, what a time for comics. It really, really is. Everybody's getting their flowers.
Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, that's one thing about the Cheersies is we try honoring everybody. And that's the thing about write-ins too. I mean, we were really trying to narrow it down to 10 for the categories. And like I say, some just kind of expanded out here. But I mean, you look at the lineup here. I mean, the letters alone are killing it and just really elevating the game too. Because if you're not familiar with how lettering impacts comics, like, is seriously one of the most critical elements of all of comics. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I know it kind of sounds a little repetitive.
It's just as important as the art, as the writing, as the lining, as the, doing the lines, as the inking and everything. If, like I said, if you don't have if you could have an amazing script, you could have the best script in the world. Scott Snyder could have come back and, done absolute Batman #1. And if it looked like it was janky Comic Sans, I'm not reading it.
Yeah. I mean,
that's how important a letterer is.
And like I say, you just see the names on here. Oatsmane, Elhau, like I say, is absolutely crushing it right now. And I mean, Becca Carey with all this stuff she does, like I say, just top level stuff all around. So you definitely want to make sure you're voting, and you have to vote for every category too when you get a ballot too. So you can't skip on that.
Yeah, you can't abstain, but you can also write in Ken for any category as well.
Yeah, but I mean, why would you write me in? Because honestly,
because you'd rather write me in.
Let's give everybody what they need to do. I see Yancey's in the chat. I see Mickey's in the chat. Definitely, let's talk about the categories, your early picks, because the next one up is one that definitely is an important one. That's best colorist, and this is one stacked field yet again. Brad Anderson from Ghost Machine is won last year's, and he's got competition going on all over here. I mean, you talk about Jordi Belair, Matt Malilla, Tamara Bonvillain, Natalia Marquez, Rico Renzi from Grimm, Andrew Dahlhaus from Space Ghost, Mike Spicer, Frank William, Igor Monti. Like, this is a loaded lineup. And like I say, where do you go from here, Tom?
Up. That's the only place you can go, is up from here. This is just an amazing group of artists that we have going on here. I mean, and the best part is that, it is all over the board where we're at. So we're not just doing the big two. We're honoring every single publisher that is out there. We're trying our best because, I mean, it's those guys. We like everybody else too.
Yeah.
But that sounded really, really bad when I said it, but it comes from the heart.
Well, the one thing is we celebrate all the comics, and it's not all about the big two. And as you're going to see when we get going on a lot of the categories, you're going to see a lot of independent books come up too. And one that we actually have a video for, because this is one of the big ones that definitely had a lot of the bullpen talk and a lot of our social media one, and that's best artist.
Oh God.
So we have the video nominees done by Mickey up here. So let's roll the tape for that one.
/ illustrator. Javier Rodriguez, Zatanna, Bring the House Down. Ryan Brown, Barfly. Dan Mora, Batman Superman. Flaviano, Grimm. Evan Cagle, Dawn Runner. Geraldo Borges, No One. Jason Fabok, Rook, Exodus. Luciano Vecchio, Resurrection of Magneto. Scott Hepburn, Minor Threats, The Fastest Way Down. Tom Riley, Duke. Juan Ferreira, Batman and Robin. Ryan Hitch, Redcoat. Gary Frank, Geiger. Ishmael Hernandez, Armored. Ricardo Lopez Ortiz, Hardstyle Juice. Valeria Vivocchia, By a Thread. Sean Von Gorman, The Pedestrian. Bilquis Evely, Helen of Windhorn. Bruno Redondo, Nightwing. Caroline Shuda, Monster High, New Scaremester.
To say a stacked field is an understatement.
Jacked and stacked.
Yeah, this one definitely is going to have a lot of the fans talking. Love seeing some first-time nominees come through here. Sean Van Gordon from The Pedestrian. I know our guy in the chair, Rich, has been screaming about this series for quite some time. Ismael Hernandez from Armored, which has been one of the indie books that's been making a lot of buzz lately. So you definitely know that that's going to get a lot of votes coming in. Scott Hepburn from Minor Threats, The Fastest Way Down, like everything they're doing at the Minor Threats universe over at Dark Horse top level. Geraldo Borges and Gary Frank, who both won last year,
True,
are back on the field. Like I say, you take a look at the lineup here. I mean, this is just talking about like some of the best work you're going to see in comics all year and really elevating things to a whole different game, because like I say, the art in comics right now has just been so amazing, no matter what book you turn to.
By a Thread.
Mm-hmm.
All right, By a Thread is stunningly beautiful. I mean, Valeria Vivocchia, we love their stuff. You know, I mean, it goes without saying Dan Mora.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a who's who of who's in comics right now that are just absolutely killing it. That's why we needed to have this many as nominees this year. If you can figure out somebody else to write in, we're looking forward to seeing who it is. Trust me. But I think we've hit every single one on the nail on the head.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think we're definitely up there in that. And I think that we're going to have a lot of turnout for this. And like I say, there's going to be a lot of write-ins too. So that's the one beauty about this.
We'll take a look in the chat. You know, our good friend, you know, our voiceover guy right now did say that Dawn Runner deserves all the awards. We'll make sure that everything's written in there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see a lot of that happen throughout the night. I know that for the fact. And the voting, like we say, is live right now until December 3rd. December 3rd. So after the December 3rd episode of Turn a Page, we're cutting off the votes. We're going to tally them up, and then the winners will be announced at the live episode. So,
and let's not forget, that is also a very special episode, December 3rd.
We'll get into that after, because we want to get into the ballots, because that's the big ones going on. And obviously, the last element of comic creating, so to speak, that definitely you can't have a great book without a great story behind it.
Oh, I thought it was all the money behind it from us.
Well, if you got something, definitely hook me up with it. That being said, we have best writer in this field. Talk about a loaded lineup.
I'm just looking at it and going, I know these people.
Well, you know them. You can talk a little bit about their books. So the mic is yours, my friend.
All right. So let's start off with Kelly Thompson, absolutely writing Absolute Wonder Woman. It is a fantastic new book out of everything that's coming out of the Absolute universe. Followed up by Patton Oswalt, Jordan Bloom, the Minor Threats series, Barfly, all that stuff. You can't go wrong with it. We know our girl Lauren absolutely loves it. Some guy named Scott Snyder for DC's All In and Absolute Batman. You ever hear of him?
A little bit, once or twice.
Just once or twice. James Tynan, Something Killing the Children from Boom Studios. I know it's one of Ken's absolute favorites. David Pepos doing Space Ghost. I'm not going to yell at this time over at Dynamite.
Thank you.
Stephanie Phillips, another good friend of the show, from doing Grimm from Boom Studios. Gail Simone doing Uncanny X-Men over at Marvel. Daniel Warren Johnson doing Transformers from Skybound and Image. We know we're big fans here. I mean, I'm covering when we did G.I. Joe, when we did all Scarlet and all those wonderful prequels. Some Australian guy named Matt Groom doing the Singularity. Where do we know him from?
Oh, we know him from Inferno Go Red, Power Rangers. I mean, he does amazing stuff. But the Singularity, you're going to hear a lot more about that book, because that is one that it's got a little bit of hype behind it, and you'll see in the cheersies as it's going through here as well.
It absolutely does. And then also, speaking of other Ranger alums, we are going to talk about those guys over Black Market Narrative and Image Comics. Kyle Higgins. Look, it's black. It is what it is. It's Radiant Black. I mean, what can't we say about it? We love this stuff. Followed up by Tom King doing Helen of Widehorn from Dark Horse Comics. Tim Sheridan doing Alan Scott the Green Lantern series. That was an amazing run. All those proceeds went to a fantastic cause. And again, big ups to Tim. Jeff Johns from Ghost Machine and Image Comics, absolutely killing it, slamming through in the comic book industry this year. Ryan Parrott writing Rogue Sun. Again, still Black Market Narrative and on all those fantastic books from Image. Michael Schwartz doing Armored. Again, Ken is raving about this book. Go and read it.
Yes, Armored is definitely making its round. And like I say, it's got a great buzz. It's in the top 4 tomorrow for Nerd Initiative reviews. So you definitely don't want to miss what Matt and Lauren have to say about that.
Clay McCormick doing Hard Style Juice. I know our guy in the chair is absolutely raving about that one. Followed by that, we've got Joey Esposito doing The Pedestrian. Again, guy in the chair. Absolutely. Michael Kingston doing Vampiro, The Rockabilly Apocalypse from Massive Publishing. Patrick Horvath, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, the book that I absolutely was thrown a curveball with from this guy. And let me tell you, I absolutely love it. And you don't have to take my word for it. Go check out my review. There's a reason I say it that way. Jacques I for doing Monster High, the new Scaremaster from IDW. It's always nice to have something a little bit more lighthearted in with everything, so I appreciate that. Zach Kaplan for Kill All Immortals from Dark Horse Comics. Tom Taylor doing Nightwing, and my God, has that been doing just like bonkers this year. Matt and Margie Kin from Guilt Frame from Dark Horse Comic. Jason Aaron for doing TMNT from IDW, and Steve Orlando for doing Scarlet Witch from Marvel, and then other.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is the most loaded lineup we had, and
Yes.
like we said in the chat, a lot of great creators deserve their flowers for the work they did this year. So we did expand it out this year, as Mickey you pointed out too. That's a lot of writers, but it's a lot of great stories that came our way via the comics. And like I say, that's gonna be probably the toughest one to call right now. I mean, I don't think there's any quote unquote odds-on favorite. Because honestly, I could see any of these writers, and especially some that are going to get written in, walking away with the Cheersie this year. So
Absolutely.
like I say, that is just the beauty of the award going on too. But next up is somebody that keeps everything in these universes in check, and that is Best Editor. So we have a lot going on with this. CB Sobalski, Elizabeth Pyle, Michael Basidal, aka Mr. Massive Verse himself.
That's right.
Will Dennis, Tom Brevport, who's doing fantastic things over the X-Men line. Sean Makowitz and Ben Apathy for the Energon universe. Brian Cunningham at Ghost Machine. Nick Lowe with the Amazing Spider-Man. Ramiro Portney and Eric Herburn from Some of This Killing Children, and Heather Antos over at IDW. Like I say, this is one that the editors definitely we want to give a lot of praise to, because this is one that you think about everything involved with editing and making sure stuff is on time, stuff is, perfectly set up. Like it's the finishing product here.
That's why we have a Ken. All right. That is why he is the editor in chief. He keeps us all in check. And you know what? These comics can't be as good as it isn't for the leadership that they have. So again, cheers to their editors. Oh, hey, look, because it's Cheersies.
I see what you did there. So then we're going to shift to a video, because obviously there's so many great companies out here right now. So that being said, I believe we have to talk about one of the most highly contested nominees of the year, and that's Best Publisher. So we got the video set up for
Best Publisher: DC Comics, IDW Publishing, Dark Horse Comics, Image Comics, Marvel Comics, Boom Studios, Mad Cave Studios, Dynamite Entertainment, Massive Publishing, Comixology Originals, Distillery, Magma Comics.
an impressive field there.
Thank you, Ken. I'm just going to say thank you right now, because if I hadn't been able to do this show, I wouldn't have been able to read a book from every single one of these publishers. And now my heart is like, where do I go?
See, that's the great thing about this ballot is there is so much great work from all these companies too, that this is going to be tough to really, have everybody decide on. That's why we allow the unlimited voting right now. So you can definitely go through and make some votes and keep going for it. Like I say, Mickey is going very hard for Dark Horse this year. So I definitely see them being in top contention for this, but I see everybody that made the list. And then, like I say, I can't reiterate enough. This is why we allow write-ins. So we're going to have somebody come out of left field that we're not even thinking about that could sneak in there and make some noise. And
it's a lot. It really is.
It's a lot.
And not in a bad way.
No, I mean,
that's joyous.
That's the whole thing about this. that you should be celebrating what the greatness of comics. And this is something that we wanted to, like I said, this year we did expand some of the categories to give everybody some extra flowers this year, because we really felt like this year as a collective from the bullpen has been one of the best years of comics in recent memory.
I'm going to say, folks, I'm going to try and twist this guy's arm till next year, because I really want to keep this as open as possible. Like, I'm hoping that the snowball effect just keeps going, and we just, can't stop, won't stop.
What, concerning the limit on nominees?
Yeah.
We have to come up with a hard number, because the one thing is, and I could already see Mickey is just sitting there back in his chair going,
shit.
No, like, no, we're definitely capping it, because to nominate everybody, it is amazing, but we definitely want to just really narrow it down, and because otherwise we could sit here and just do like shows completely on categories. There's so many great creators out there that we just really kind of want to narrow it down. But that's why we allow the write-ins, and the write-ins do matter. Like, that's the one thing I don't think other shows maybe really emphasize about, but we do. Didn't
Borges win last year by write-ins?
No, he did not, but there was another book that came in.
Yeah.
That I don't want to say who it was on air, because
it was Jason Todd levels of that close. That's the way we're going to put it, because we're going to talk comics. It's Jason Todd levels of that close.
Yeah, because the book came in as a write-in.
Yeah,
and it was for series of the year,
and that's not foreshadowing that it's actually anything from DC or anything. It's just, you get the idea,
right? No, that was the whole key point about that, is the books matter. Being that's how literally Geraldo Borges and Gary Frank tied. They had a dead center tie. For best artist, so we gave it to both of them, because that's what we do. I mean, we're not going to sit there and do. Mickey left you a message in the screen here that he doesn't have that much time, Tom. So we're definitely limiting next year.
That's okay. I can do it too.
No, but that being said, though, back to the awards, because everybody's saying, and this is one that we're doing. It's a first time ever here, because the Kickstarter campaigns have really made an impact on how we consume comics.
Indeed.
And this is one that we thought we should definitely give some shine to, and definitely have some campaigns really stand out for either what they offered or the books behind it.
Yeah, and not only that, a lot of these, I'm looking on here and it's like, oh, we know that guy. We've had some of these folks here on the channel on previous episodes. So I highly recommend that you go out and pick up on these if you've seen them, if they're still live. If you see another one of the projects, do it, because trust me, this is where you get those fantastic owner or artist owned comic books.
Well, I mean, you just have to kind of just realize about how many comics creators are going through that route. And it's really taken off and been some great success stories, as we've seen. Like I say, some of the nominees here, the Legend of Kingdom Come documentary, that is a fantastic one. Jordan Hart's Ripple Effects from Fanbase. Armored started out as the Kickstarter campaign, so Clover Press. Grandma Chainsaw, our good friend Alan Dunford, obviously doing big things over there. I mean, you want to talk about success stories involving Kickstarter campaigns right then and there. Dime Store Detective by John Dexter. Ace Blade #7 from Fourth Wall Productions. The Charger, Electrifying Secrets from Divergent. Rise from Pocket Watch Press, whose #3 issue just went live on Kickstarter. So if you're interested in that series, go check that out. And Inferno Girl Red 2 from Black Market Narrative, one of the most popular ones that I personally have been hit up and asked about.
It's on fire. I mean, I hate to do the pun, but it really is a fantastic book. And again, this is one of those ones where it's like, hey, I know that guy. Do I write on that? Or it's like, sorry, Matt, some of those stories don't be better. But no, I know where my vote's going for this one.
Well, I was going to say the campaign for it is one, because the book is slated to come out next year. This is one that really had a lot of buzz behind it.
So much.
So we definitely have to nominate it in there. And that's why I say there's going to be a lot more that get mentioned in here as well. I think this one, if I have to make an educated guess, will have the most write-ins amongst all the categories.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. I think this is, being its inaugural run this year, and also being one of the shorter ones against everything else, I do agree that this will be a lot of write-ins for it. So we're looking forward. And another thing that's great about the write-ins, if there's a Kickstarter out there and there's a book that we're not aware of, God forbid, we want to know. Let us know. Get that right in. Maybe it'll be our new favorite.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. We love talking comics here, so we want to talk with everybody about comics.
Yes.
So chat, super chat. I know it's lighting up tonight. Definitely keep that going. And we're gonna have to see who wins all these awards on Monday, December 30th, a special date and time for Turn the Page. But back to the awards and the best indie series.
Wow.
This is a new category because we really expanded. We do have a video up for it as well. But looking at the ballot right now, I don't think it does enough justice because this one is one that really stands out and really makes a lot of noise. So we'll get to the video because, like I said, we really want to give this one a lot of shine.
Shine away.
Indie series: The Deviant, Image Comics; Monster High, New Scaremester, IDW; Something is Killing the Children, Boom Studios; Black Cloak, Image Comics; Dawn Runner, Dark Horse; Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, IDW Publishing; Hard Style Juice, Comixology Originals; By a Thread, Book 1, Comixology, Dark Horse; Grimm, Boom Studios; Radiant Black, Black Market Narrative, Image Comics; The Power Fantasy, Image Comics; Armored, Clover Press; The Sacrificers, Image Comics; Minor Threats, The Fastest Way Down, Dark Horse Comics; The Pedestrian, Magma Comics; Kill All Immortals, Dark Horse Comics; Guilt Frame, Dark Horse; Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, Image Comics; Local Man, Image Comics; Spectrograph, Distillery.
Talk about a loaded ballot for that one. And like Mickey said right in the chat, a lot of great stories here. The indie scene right now is booming.
Bonkers.
It's absolutely filled with so many talents. Like I say, the guy in the chair, too many good ones for me to choose. That's why I say we got the unlimited voting. So definitely make sure to vote often. And like I say, it's stacked beyond belief, but really, this has been, in my opinion, the year of the indies. At least I'll say the first half, because as we get to the next category, I think one really kind of made a push and really made a lot of noise and swung a lot of momentum back their way. But the indie scene has been crushing it this year, top to bottom, with a mix of Kickstarter books, with a mix of what some of the great publishers that you saw in there. Like I say, this is one of the hardest ones to choose.
And the worst part is, like, I already have an idea for what I want to do for a write-in for indie that wasn't on here. Not that I'm not knocking anybody that's out there.
Sure.
But how hard is it? Like maybe I'll just toss them one just to make myself feel good. I'm not going to say who it is, but then I look at the other ones and it's like, okay, I like that one. I like that. Click, 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 click. That is why we like the unlimited voting. We really want to hit these numbers this year. You know, it's just going to be absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to see the numbers.
Yeah,
because this is our second year doing it here on Nerd Initiative.
Second year doing it on Nerd Initiative. The first 4 were on the Cheers to Comics podcast with Brian Wayne.
Thanks, Brian.
That used to be the midnight show with me and him doing it because he was West Coast time. And yeah, it was, but a fantastic one. And the show has grown every year that it is a very well-known award show in the comics world.
It is. And then we got upcoming next, I believe, is the best new DC series.
That's what I was saying. A lot of momentum has been swinging DC's way with the all-in and absolute movements. But this lineup right here. Whew.
All right. I got this one. You said I got this. Hold my cheersy. All right. So we've got The Boy Wonder, Absolute Wonder Woman, The Outsiders, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, Superman, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman, Nightwing, Green Arrow, and Absolute Batman. And other.
Yeah. Well, like I say, we always have to leave that other one in there because DC's had so many great books come out. And especially right now, the era we live in with the all-in initiative, the absolute universe.
Not that we're pushing your vote. We're just saying how much we love this.
No, but you think about where they've come in the past year, especially like coming out of the heels of the dawn of DC and really making a lot of those classic heroes come back in prominence.
And the fact that we also are getting, you know, these are going to be long format. We're going to have these guys for a while. This isn't just a flash in the pan like we see from the big two. It's like, oh, hey, quick reboot, and then it fizzles out. Like
the absolute, yeah,
absolute is going to be here to stay. So trust me, get in on this now because you are missing out.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Snyder's mentioned that the Absolute Batman is not a limited series. They have years planned out for this, and it goes to show about how the focus is back on characters, and it's something that we've heard a lot from the team over at Black Market Narratives, Ghost Machine especially.
Yep.
And like even Skybound is talked about with the Energon universe. It was like just getting back to the characters and really pushing them. And you're seeing DC really go hard with that as well, because with the all-in movement, it's a perfect time to get back into that universe and really make it something, and really remind fans like, hey, we got just so many great characters. We want to give them a lot of attention. And the books have been absolutely crushing it coming out of the gate too. So a lot of big wins there. But speaking of big wins,
on the flip side, of course, to the big two coin, we got to talk about the best Marvel comic series.
Yes.
So we're starting off right with Weapon X-Men, followed up by Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider, Ultimate Spider-Man of the new Ultimate series, Phoenix, Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Immortal Thor, Ultimate X-Men, The Ultimates, and Star Wars, and other.
Yeah. A lot of great books from Marvel this year. They really have been doing some fantastic stuff. The Ultimates line, the restart of that has been absolutely lights out.
The 3 new series from X-Men alone.
Oh, the entire X-Men line.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you think about the books that have been coming out of there, and we say Phoenix, we talk Storm, which is now issue number 2 is coming out tomorrow, and Wolverine re-up, and like I say, and X-Factor, like I could seriously go on and on and on about this. The stuff Marvel is doing has really been some top level stuff, and especially like with the X-Men line, but also the Spider-Man's, going through some changes as well with Amazing, and what they have going on out of Blood Hunt, which was one of the big events of the year, now going to One Nation Under Doom. Like I say, they have a lot of moving parts happening there, but it's been really strong stuff going on from the House of Ideas, and it's been great as a fan to read these.
Let's not forget Infinity Paws.
Oh yeah, I know.
And Jeff the Shark.
Well, which by the way, Venom War Jeff is out tomorrow.
I know.
Yeah, that's going to be something special as well. Oh man, super chat. How you feeling about the ballot so far? I definitely want to get some feedback about that. Next up is a new category that was nominated, and it's to give some awards to the best limited and mini series.
This was my idea.
Yeah, I mean, this came through. So Tom, I'll let you take this one away.
All right. So we're starting off with Avengers Twilight from Marvel, Dawn Runner from Dark Horse Comics, Alan Scott, the Green Lantern from DC, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees from IDW, the House of X / Powers of X finale from Marvel, No One from Black Market Narrative and Image Comics, The Infernals also from Image Comics, X-Men 97 from Marvel, Duke from Skybound and Image Comics, Scarlet from Skybound and Image Comics, Minor Threats, The Fastest Way Down from Dark Horse, Blood Hunt from Marvel, Cobra Commander from Skybound and Image Comics, Absolute Power from DC, and then Guilt Frame from Dark Horse.
Amazing stuff here.
Yeah.
This is literally, so crazy to like try picking out like who's going to take the top spot here. There's been so many great limited series going on, in mini series. Like I say, where do you even start? Like that,
I know where I start, and I mean, I kind of nodded to it, but
yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. But agreed. Like in the chat, the Infernals is super underrated. Fully agreed there.
Yep.
I mean, you start taking a look at the Skybound stuff that came out involving the Energon universe. All of those series were fantastic.
And we're just finally culminating in the books right now.
Yeah, like I say, there's so many ways to go about this. So we definitely want to make sure that the chat has a lot to go there. And especially, I see Mickey's in the chat yelling about Dawn Runner again. Dawn Runner was a fantastic series, so I know that one's going to get a lot of votes coming in for that. Avengers Twilight, I mean, they're doing some really great stuff.
It really is. Like, and one of the oddest ones that I got to say again, Beneath the Trees was just such a great read. I'm not kidding. You look at it one way, you perceive it one way, but when you get to the story, like you literally could just take those two things separately as it is. Oh, well, it's cute this way, but it's this way. Like I would love to see like a heavy version, like a really hardcore drawn out version of Beneath the Trees with the story on top of it.
Well, you never say never.
I'm just saying, like maybe if we, I'm not going to push the ballot box.
No pushing that. That's why we just say chat, super chat. You see the QR code. You can definitely click on that and get a ballot right now, or in the liner notes of this YouTube special. So definitely make sure about that. Well, we had to cover the limited series. We got to go to the best ongoing series. So this is one had to be a minimum of 5 issues out. So a lot of the new series that just started, if it didn't clear that, it couldn't make the cut. But this one, we talk Ultimate Spider-Man from Marvel, Rogue Sun from Black Market Narrative, Void Rivals, Skybound Entertainment,
Yes.
Rook Exodus, Ghost Machine, Transformers, Skybound, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, Red Coat, Ghost Machine, Geiger, Ghost Machine, Something is Killing the Children from Boom, Uncanny X-Men, which just made the cut because issue 5 just came out.
Just did.
Yes. Grimm from Boom Studios, Superman from DC, Nightwing from DC, Fantastic Four from Marvel, and Space Ghost from Dynamite Comics.
And didn't Space Ghost also just make it as well?
They're on issue 7 now.
Yep.
So they just, like I say, some of those books just made the cut because of where they were. There was a couple that I know was getting debated about in the bullpen, but they didn't hit 5. So that'd be the criteria to make this list. So if you didn't do it, unfortunately, you can't go there. But nevertheless, we do have other write-ins for that as well. So that is a stacked lineup right there. I mean, where do you go from there? There's so many great ongoings going on right now, especially like with Image and Marvel, like I say. In DC right now too, is DC had just wrapped up one arc with Nightwing and now went to a whole different one.
I'm looking at this and just trying to figure out like which are the ones that I haven't asked you to send me just copies to read just so I can keep up on them.
Yeah,
because they are ongoing, and that's the weird thing about doing what we do is that sometimes we skip books because we got to review this and review that. I'm like, Ken, can you just send me them all, please, and thank you.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the whole thing about how great the comic industry is right now with the creativity. That's why I say we expanded some categories out this year just for 1 year, and then we're like I say we're gonna go back to 10, and then next year's ballot's gonna be even tougher. That's why I say it's gonna be tough next year. But that being said, we all start with one issue, and that is the best debut issue. So we got a lot of number 1. So this is strictly a debut that came out. And this one, Tom, I'll let you take this.
I mean, I feel like number 1 being able to say this, but Absolute Wonder Woman number 1 from DC, Monster High, the new Scaremaster from IDW, Storm number 1 from Marvel, Absolute Batman number 1 from DC Comics. I'm going to stop saying number 1 because we know it's a number 1. Hyde Street from Ghost Machine, Rook Exodus from Ghost Machine and Image, Black Canary, Best of the Best, which we did do a...
There is an asterisk by that one. I'll get to that after we're done.
Yes, thank you. I was going to say there is an asterisk for a reason. Phoenix, Uncanny X-Men, both from Marvel, Redcoat, again from Ghost Machine, Vampiro, the Rockabilly Apocalypse from Massive and Mass Republic, Armored number 1, TMNT number 1 from IDW, Armored's from Clover Press, Kill All Immortals from Dark Horse Comics, and then Life from Distillery.
So this one, like we say, a lot of great number 1s coming out this year.
Give me the asterisks.
The asterisk is for Black Canary, Best of the Best, because that comes out November 27th. However, our bullpen,
yes,
Megan and Lauren, shout out to them, got to read this ahead.
Yes.
And we're raving about it so much.
We couldn't shut them up.
That they were really pushing this, and they're really feeling strong that because the voting is obviously, there's going to be a little window of time. They were really feeling that this book is actually going to steal the award.
I would think
that's
so.
how good they've been raving about. The interview is up live right now on Nerd Initiative YouTube, so definitely go check that out.
And again, he's the boss. He can make this call. I'm just sitting here. I'm just making it
like I say, with our bullpen, because we are the hardest working team in all of comic reviewing, and nobody's coming close to what the bullpen is doing each and every week with dropping 30 plus reviews, like nothing anymore. So we can make that call because they read it ahead of time. They really feel that passionate about it. I gave the green light and I said, we can definitely put it in there for that because they did read it before the criteria.
Yep.
So that being said, they're really feeling by it. And Lauren even said in the chat, she stands by it. So we're definitely acknowledging that. So we'll definitely be seeing how that book makes when the public gets to read it on November 27th. That'll be in the top 4 of the Nerd Initiative New Comic Book Day, first 4 out the gate when that week drops. But 2 more awards left. And this one definitely is an event of the year. So we really kept this to comics because there was a lot of stuff going on outside of comics that could have made the cut. But we really focused on the events in the series and some of the great things that happened. We have a video up for it. So Mickey, take it away.
Event of the year. Blood Hunt, Marvel. Absolute Power, DC Comics. Absolute All-In Initiative, DC Comics. Avengers Twilight, Marvel. Return of TMNT, IDW. From the Ashes, Fall of Krakoa, Marvel. Supermassive 2024, Image Comics. Catalyst War, Black Market Narrative, Image Comics. Resurgence of the Valiant Universe, Valiant Alien. Luchaverse, Catalyst, Massive Publishing, Masked Republic.
Big moments throughout the year.
And other.
Yeah, I mean, Tom, let's break it down. I mean, you see the ballots up on the screen right now. This one, loaded events going on. Valiant came back with a vengeance, with a resurgence. If you haven't checked them out with what they're doing with Alien,
Oh yeah,
you definitely want to go back. Like, as an old school Valiant reader, I'm really loving what I'm seeing there. Luchaverse Catalyst, the birth of the Luchaverse. Like I say, this is one that I know our guy in the chair is definitely a big fan of, as am I, combining the worlds of wrestling and superheroes. Like I say, Massive and Masked Republic are really doing some fantastic work. So definitely can't miss on that. The Catalyst War. I mean, you want to talk about game-changing events.
0.5, of course.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that what Kyle Higgins and the team did about putting the fate of the franchise hero in the fans' hands, and literally gave you such a compelling story to where it ended. And we all know, I mean, I guess it's been out by now. We can say spoilers.
Yeah, you can say it.
The Marshall is now taking the mantle of Radiant Black. This is permanent. They're not going to do any kind of switch back and forth. This is him moving forward. So when the book returns in February, Marshall will be the lead. And like, for the moment, like, of time that was in, like, the fans, and especially the Massiverse fans, are a very passionate fan base. They showed up for this. And like I say, you want to talk about voting, it was razor thin. I don't know exact numbers yet. We're going to have Kyle on sooner than later to talk about this. So hopefully we can get it out of him then.
Other ones on here, Blood Hunt from Marvel really did change the whole idea in the landscape. We've had a lot of events from Marvel in the past, whether it was the Symbiote War or whatnot, but Blood Hunt really was a nice new take, something we haven't seen. Obviously, over DC, with everything that is absolute power in the DC all in, really has turned everything you've seen at DC on its ear. I can say, knowing from reading it over the return of TMNT, with them also hitting 150 this year, kudos to them for that. I mean, how many books get that far?
Oh yeah, I mean, especially with Jason Aaron taking over the book and really going some places with it too, and there's a refocus on them.
Very big.
Like I say, there's so much stuff going on too, like the Night Watchman book that's out, Mutant Nation.
Yep,
like
Mutant Nation. Oh my God, both of them are all up on Nerd Initiative. You can check out those reviews too.
Yeah, like I say, they're doing big things over there. So like I say, that's definitely an event. And when you talk about events too, Absolute Power, that was a phenomenal series to really set the tone for what turned into be the all-in absolute movement, and what goes on with that book too. Like I say, there is so much that were events too, and I know we missed a couple too. I'm not saying it because I want to see
them in.
I want to see them written in, because I feel that we're going to have a few come in there, and I could see one taking it, which I'll say during the award show when we actually do that. But last but certainly not least, the most prized CHEERSIE of them all, issue of the year. So I will let Mickey take it away. So get ready, because here we go.
Of the year. The Singularity, Image Comics. Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider #6, Marvel Comics. Doom, #1, Marvel Comics. Radiant Black #30, 30.5, Black Market Narrative, Image Comics. DC All-In Special #1, DC Comics. It Happened on Hyde Street, Devour #1, Ghost Machine, Image Comics. Dawn Runner #4, Dark Horse Comics. Alan Scott, The Green Lantern #2, DC Comics. Absolute Batman #1, DC Comics. Scarlet Witch #5, Marvel Comics. Grimm #17, Boom Studios. Kill All Immortals #4, Dark Horse Comics. Uncanny X-Men #1, Marvel.
Look, I literally have goosebumps. Like,
yeah, he does.
It's the truth. Like this is What a time to be alive.
I'm telling you, this was one of the most toughest fields to narrow down for issue of the year. There has been so many great issues, but you want to talk about the singularity and what Matt Groom and Bear McCready did, and that whole concept is truly an event. Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider, I know has been very popular amongst our bullpen. They keep raving about it. I know Kat has been championing this for quite some time. Doom #1, this book definitely had a lot of fans talking. Obviously, we alluded to Radiant Black 30 and 30.5, the end of the Catalyst War. You talk about delivering on an event. This delivered and then some. The DC All-In Special, I mean, changed the landscape of the DC universe forever.
Not only that, but you remember that book you had to read both ways.
Mhm.
You know, it literally was physically, you had to pick up the book and turn it over and read it from the both different perspectives. And it's just like, that's just adds to it to me.
Yeah, no, completely. It happened on Hyde Street Devour. Now, this is a story that just came out in October. It really had a true horror feel, and really it connects on a lot of different levels. So I know our bullpen was buzzing about that. Dawn Runner #4. I know Mickey has been championing this series for quite some time.
Yeah, and in the chat too.
Oh yeah, like I say, and that's what we like to see because we want to see fans vocal about this. Alan Scott, the Green Lantern #2.
Yeah.
You talk about just impactful stories. This is one.
I was at New York Comic Con and I didn't get the chance to go down to see Tim till the last day of the show. And he was just absolutely exhausted, and God bless him for still being there. And I was waiting to get the trade paperback from him to get signed, and he had run out the day before. So luckily there was an issue #2 still sitting on there. And that one was so impactful for me. I said, Tim, can you please sign this one for me? And he absolutely did. So for me, it is my personal in my shelf, not that I'm voting here because I can't push the vote. Yeah.
I actually bought the last one at New York Comic Con, the trade paperback. That's serious.
We're going to talk.
Yeah. No, because I did. The guy in the chair can identify that. But yeah, I mean, but the whole.
I am throwing daggers right now, man.
Yeah, I know. It's all right.
I still love you.
So, I mean, but looking at the rest of the ballot, though, I mean, you talk about Absolute Batman.
Again,
like I say, what can you say about that? I mean, I believe it was the top selling book of the year. I don't have the official numbers, but I know stuff has been getting posted about it. So that one, the Scarlet Witch, what is going on with that book? Like I say, everybody should really check that out because I know our bullpen talks about it heavily. Steve Orlando's writing it, and like he does absolutely incredible stuff. So I love the direction that was going on with that. But our bullpen will definitely back that one up 100%. Grimm 17. Now, this is Boys Don't Cry. This is, if you've been reading the series, and I will say this until I'm blue in the face, being the unofficial Paul Heyman for Stephanie Phillips. This book was one that if you follow the series, Eddie, that like the character just really hit on all the emotions and what they do in Grimm. Grimm is the coolest book at the shelves, no matter what. Punk rock, DIY, mythology, religion, and rock and roll all mixed up together. It is an experience. And this book, what they did when they came off hiatus, they've been focusing on issues about the characters in the universe. And we got like one about the pastor that's there, and then we had one about Eddie. And this is the one that, if you talk to any Grimm fan, this is the one that hit in all the feels, all the emotions. It is an incredible series. Like I said, the series is incredible, but the issue especially. Kill All Immortals.
Oh my goodness.
We just had Zach Kaplan on Turn a Page, and the ending to this, and especially where he leads up to, just absolutely will floor you.
Yep.
And I think it definitely earned its spot up here.
Yeah, very, very, very much so.
Without question. And last but certainly not least, Uncanny X-Men #1 from Gail Simone and David Marquez. Coming out of the era of Krakoa, we really didn't know what to expect out of the X-Men line. We know they have top level creators on every single book. But what Gail and David have done with this series is they have really taken it and connected back to what we as fans love about the X-Men. And this is something that every month it comes out, we get hit up more and more from fans, readers, talking about this book on socials. I know Megan has been reviewing it since issue 1. And like we say, the praise that comes with this book is definitely warranted. And when this issue came out, I think this reassured fans that we're getting back to basics. The Krakoa era was great, but we're going back to what we love about the X-Men. And this really kicked everything off, in my opinion, for it.
Absolutely. I think that with everything going on, to get such a nice, new, fresh take, especially from a fantastic writer, it's that breath of fresh air, especially because, like you said, we had so much baggage coming out of Krakoa that it's like, okay, let's pick up and go somewhere with it.
Yeah. So there is a lot to digest with this. Like I say, with all the nominees, I know we literally spent an hour breaking it down.
Yeah.
But that is what we do here, and
Has it been an hour?
Yeah.
This is why we do what we love, because it didn't feel like an hour.
It didn't feel like an hour at all. But that is why we say the ballot is live right now in the liner notes of this episode. It will be on nerdinitiative.com by tomorrow if it's not up already.
Is it up there?
It is in the QR code that you see on the screen, but definitely click on that. If you want a quicker access, it is on ODPH podcast right now.com. So you definitely want to go click on that and make sure to vote and vote often, share, tag the creators, let everybody know. We're going to be doing that. You're going to see a lot of Mickey's videos. So shout out to him and thank you again for doing them. They're going to be dropping all through on social media starting tomorrow morning, I believe is the scheduled time, but nevertheless, that's why you should be subscribed to Nerd Initiative on YouTube and all social so you don't miss it.
Are we trickling them in through all of our comic book reviews as well tomorrow?
Our video team is handling that.
Wonderful. Thank you, video
So
team.
they're going to definitely be on top of that. I'll just put it that way. But that being said, there's a lot that's going to be going on with this. So we just want to say the big message we're saying is celebrate comics, make it a positive thing, celebrate your favorite creators, celebrate your favorite stories, celebrate your favorite characters. There is so much good in the industry as far as being a fan and loving the different stories that you can read each and every Wednesday when you walk into a shop and see the new stories that drop. This is why we sit here and we preach every single week about when you go to the comic shop and you have great issues in your hands, hand yours off to them and tell people to turn a page. This is the sole reason why, because you take a look at the lineups, you take a look at the expanded categories. Was there any ones that we could have taken off?
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Like, there was too much that was too good this year to not put it in. I mean, we would be doing a disservice, not only one to ourselves, but also to the fans by not having all these phenomenal books in there. And if it's something that you haven't read yet, go and read it. Go pick it up. Go get the trade. Go to your comic shop. God knows if God forbid that they're actually out of them, that's a good thing, because they sold them all. But find it, get it somewhere, get the digital version, get these books in your head. Period.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is if anything, if we've done anything good with this award show, we've spotlighted a few books that you don't know about, and hopefully you go check out and you'll fall in love with, just like our entire team has.
Yeah,
because that is the beauty of the Cheersies, is to celebrate the fandom of comics and award the best of the best. So that's why it's so important. Vote now and vote often,
and then some,
because this all goes up to December 3rd, and then after turn a page that night, the ballot is turned off. And we tally up. Winners will get told about it. You never know who's going to stop by the award show. Last year, we were very fortunate. A few winners sent a couple thank you videos. So this is a big award for them. But we definitely want to give everybody their flowers and everybody their chance to make your voice heard, and definitely make this big on social media, because we all could use something positive to rally around when we go clicking on our favorite social accounts.
Indeed.
So that being said, we're going to end Turn a Page a little differently than we normally do, because starting next week, we have 3 guests lined up for the next 3 weeks coming through. We will be revealing who's coming next week shortly, with the next few days, because it just got agreed upon right before we went on air. So
the ink's still wet.
Yes. So definitely make sure that you are subscribed to Nerd Initiative on YouTube. So you want to make sure you click on that QR code when it pops up, because Nerd Initiative YouTube is going to have exclusive content and exclusive interviews that are not going to be featured anywhere else. I know 2 are going to be dropping relatively soon that we're not allowed to talk about just yet, but you want to make sure you're going there for it, because it's not going to go anywhere else. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, tap that thumbs up to let the boss, the GEO himself, Michael, know that you love seeing the content, and definitely share it all over the place and set those bell notifications when Nerd Initiative goes live, because we have a big 2024 still left to go, and then just wait till 2025. And that said, nerdinitiative.com starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the best of comic reviews. Nobody, and I mean nobody, does the Nerd Initiative New Comic Book Day better than the Nerd Initiative Bullpen. Over 30 reviews, I believe, are on site, ready to go tomorrow morning. So you don't want to miss that. I think there's a chance it's going up to 40 from the messages I've been getting during the show tonight. And that is a beauty, because that is just showing how much we love to talk comics with you and the fans and interact. And let's talk about the best of the best in comics.
Oh, yeah.
So that being said, on behalf of Tom and myself, our guy in the chair, Rich, Mickey, who made all these fantastic videos, the Bullpen that's been chiming in the chat, and you watching wherever you're watching in the world. Thank you so much for watching another edition of Turn a Page, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.